Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today you're joining us as we explore the really fascinating collection at the Krakow Polish Aviation Museum.
That's right. And we're basing this on a couple of recent YouTube videos from Aries Krakow and Poland experience. One's quite new, April 2025.
Yeah.
And there's another look from May 2022.
Yeah, so for you, if you're interested in getting to the heart of something, quickly and pretty thoroughly, we've dug through these for the, surprising bits.
And insights, hopefully. It looks like there's everything from Soviet-era fighters to some quite unusual specialized aircraft.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The April 2025 video, it sort of picks up with a MiG-29U.
Mm-hmm.
And the presenter says it's following on from a previous video, so clearly an important aircraft.
Oh, absolutely. The MiG-29, it's a really significant Soviet design. Not just about high-speed interception like some earlier planes.
Right.
It was more about agility, maneuverability for closer combat. A bit of a different philosophy compared to some Western planes at the time.
That makes sense. And its widespread use must say something, too.
Definitely. Speaks volumes about Soviet influence during the later Cold War years.
Okay, following the MiG, the video pans down an aisle. Loads of military helicopters. Attack, transport, utility models.
A real variety there.
Yeah, and this one caught my eye. One utility helicopter is called Virus. Just seemed like a funny name.
Virus, huh? That is unusual. You've got your standard roles, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Attack for offense, transport for troops and gear, utility for, all sorts of support tasks.
So what about Virus? Any ideas?
Hard to say without the specific model, but it does make you wonder, maybe some specific history. Could it have been involved in, disease controls or something unique that earned it that nickname?
Definitely sparks the curiosity. And beyond those standard military roles, there was another interesting helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
One designed just for aerial photography, taking pictures of the terrain.
Right. That highlights a really fascinating niche. Aerial photography from helicopters, it's invaluable for so many things. Well, military recon, obviously, but also civilian stuff.
Yeah.
Land surveying, mapping, even environmental monitoring. It's a good reminder that aircraft aren't all about combat or just hauling people around.
Exactly. Now, shifting focus.
Yeah.
The other side of the aisle in that video, agricultural aircraft, multi-role and others.
Crop dusters and the like.
Yeah, but here's where it gets really unexpected. Get this. One of them has become like a home for bees.
Bees, you're kidding.
Nope. A full-on colony apparently made a honey hive right inside the aircraft.
Wow. That's actually kind of amazing. It really shows how these machines, once so active, are now just sort of existing, becoming part of the environment again.
Definitely not what you expect to find.
Makes you think about how nature interacts with our technology over time, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, moving on from bees. The video shows some smaller passenger planes, too.
Right.
One's a Tupolev 134A. It says it belonged to LOT, the Polish airline. And there's another one, an Antonov A-26.
Ah, okay. So these represent the civilian side. A glimpse into air travel history in Poland and the wider Eastern Bloc, really.
Yeah.
The Tupolev 134, that was a very common short to medium range jet. Seeing one there, it connects you to what flying was like back then.
Right. Now, let's zoom out a bit. The May 2022 videos, they give a much better sense of the museum's, sheer size. One tour even starts with agricultural aircraft, which kind of emphasizes the breadth right away. The presenter just says it's very, very big.
Yeah, and the fact that agricultural planes are right there at the start, it suggests they aren't just focused on, say, military jets.
Good point.
It signals they want to show the whole range of aviation roles,
Going back to helicopters for a second, the 2022 footage mentions them again, utility ones, but also espionage helicopters.
Ooh, espionage. Sounds intriguing.
Doesn't it? Like something from a Cold War movie?
Well, presumably those would have been kitted out with special surveillance gear, cameras, listening devices, that sort of thing, for recon, intelligence gathering.
So secret squirrel stuff.
Exactly. It points to the more clandestine side of aviation. Adds another layer to the museum's story, hinting at past operations and technology.
Then, still in that 2022 visit, there's a comment about a MiG-29 again, a size comparison this time.
Oh, yeah. To what?
To the American F-15. The presenter notes the MiG-29 is not that big as maybe you'd think.
Ah, yeah, that's a useful comparison. The F-15 Eagle is a larger aircraft. It was designed with, range and payload maybe more in mind, alongside air superiority.
Whereas the MiG-29?
As we said, more emphasis on that close-in agility. So the size difference really reflects those different design goals,
Got it. Then we get to what's described as a lane of all the Sui aircraft, and also lots of MiG-21 versions.
Ah, Sui. He likely means Sukhoi. Sukhoi.
Sukhoi.
Yeah, another major Soviet, now Russian design bureau. Like MiG is Mikoyan Gorovich, is Sukhoi. See a whole lane of them, plus all those MiG-21s.
It's impressive.
It really highlights the huge impact of those designers. And the MiG-21, I mean, that's just iconic, used all over the world.
Now, here's a bit of a mystery from that 2022 video. The presenter mentions something called a German flying castle. Wasn't there anymore.
A flying castle?
Yeah, said it was there a few years before, but was removed for some reason.
Flying castle. That probably refers to a big German bomber from World War II, maybe like a Focke-Wulf Condor, or possibly Junkers Ju 290, something large, multi-engine.
Okay, but why removed?
Hard to say. Could be restoration, maybe it was only on loan, or other reasons not mentioned. It definitely raises the question.
Definitely. Now, for something completely different, a British Harrier.
Ah, the Harrier, jump jet.
Exactly. The video points out its special engine, the one that lets it, take off vertically and fly horizontally, though the presenter did mention it was a cloudy day for filming.
Yeah, the weather doesn't always cooperate. But the Harrier itself, it's just remarkable engineering, that vectored thrust engine.
Explain that a bit.
Well, the pilot can direct the engine exhaust downwards to lift off or land vertically, or almost vertically, then pivot the nozzles back for normal forward flight.
Kind of revolutionary, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Gave it a unique tactical edge. Could operate from places other jets couldn't.
It seems it's not just whole planes either. The videos mention hangars with engines and other avionics bits and pieces.
That's just great to see the components, the engines, the electronics. It gives you a much deeper appreciation for the complexity, right?
Yeah, like looking under the hood.
Exactly. Seeing the guts of the machines that made flight happen.
We also hear about trainer aircraft, the ones pilots learn on, and apparently there's an old bunker on the site too.
Well, trainers are essential, aren't they? Passing on the skills. And a bunker. Yeah, that suggests the site itself might have had other military roles in the past, maybe before or during the museum era.
Adds another layer of history to the location itself. And here's a really specific historical connection. They mention a Mi-8 helicopter.
Okay, the Mi-8, very common Soviet design. Very versatile, robust helicopter. Used everywhere.
But this one was apparently used by Pope John Paul II, the Polish Pope.
Oh, wow. Used by the Polish Pope. That adds a huge cultural and historical weight to that specific machine, doesn't it?
Absolutely, given his significance to Poland and, well, the world.
It's a tangible link between aviation and, major world events.
Yeah.
Really interesting detail.
And finally, just a brief mention of other interesting things, vaguely described as some R stuff. No specifics.
Yeah, R stuff. Intriguing. Leaves you hanging a bit.
It does.
Yeah, that probably just means there's, a variety of smaller exhibits too. Documents, maybe uniforms, personal items, bits of tech, things that add context beyond the big aircraft.
Right. It suggests there's even more to discover if you actually go there.
For sure.
So wrapping up our deep dive into the Kraków Polish Aviation Museum, using these glimpses from Aries, Kraków, and Poland experience, it's pretty clear it's an incredibly diverse place.
Definitely seems that way. We've touched on everything from agile MiGs to, well, bees in an agricultural plane.
And the Pope's helicopter, don't forget that.
Can't forget that. And yeah, those surprising bits like the bees or that missing flying castle, they really stick with you, don't they? Those little aha moments.
Exactly. Which kind of leads to a final thought for you, the listener. When you look at this amazing range of aircraft, different eras, different jobs, what do you think the future of aviation history will look like in museums, say, 50 years from now?
That's a good question.
What current aircraft, maybe today's advanced drones or electric planes perhaps, what will they look like as museum pieces? And what stories will they tell about how flight keeps evolving?
Yeah, what will be the MiG-29 or the Harrier of tomorrow's museum display?
Yeah.
Interesting to think about.
Definitely something to let your mind take flight with.